All right, here's another favorite, I think. I will fight, fight, fight for the Lord. I will stand, stand, stand on His word. I will fight, fight, fight for the Lord with my armor, shield, and sword. With the breastplate of righteousness, a helmet of salvation, and my waist belted up with the truth. With the sword of the Spirit and my shield of faith, my feet will bring the gospel. With the Lord is my strength. Can you hear ya? The Lord is my strength. The Lord is your what?
Strength, 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 strength.
Okay, I think we got it. Here we go. 1, 2. I will fight, fight, fight for the Lord. I will stand, stand, stand on His word. I will fight, fight, fight for the Lord with my armor, shield, and sword. With the breastplate of righteousness, a helmet of salvation, and my waist belted up with the truth. With the sword of the Spirit and my shield of faith, my people bring the gospel. With the Lord is my strength. Let me hear ya.
The Lord is my strength.
Oh, I didn't hear you. I couldn't hear you. You need to scream a little bit louder than that, right? Go.
My Lord is my strength.
The Lord is your what?
Strength, strength,
Strength, strength. Okay, we're going to speed it up a little bit. You guys ready to go faster? You ready to go faster? Ready to go faster? I will fight, fight, fight for the Lord. I will stand, stand, stand on His word. I will fight, fight, fight for the Lord. With my armor, shield, and sword. With the breastplate of righteousness, a helmet of salvation, and my waist belted up with the truth. With the sword of the Spirit and my shield of faith, my feeling the gospel with the Lord is my strength.
My Lord is my strength.
The Lord is your what? Strength, 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 strength. Good job. Jesus, you're my joy, down deep in my soul. You got me coming back for more. Jesus, you're my joy. One more time, sing it loud. Here we go. Jesus, you're my joy, down deep in my soul. You got me coming back for more. Jesus, you're my joy. There is a God whose patient love pursues me. He won't give up even when I lose my way. And I will rejoice and let my heart be filled with praises, because my God has done great things. Come on. Jesus, you're my joy, down deep in my soul. You got me coming back for more. Jesus, you're my joy. Well, there is a place where my debt of sin was paid for, where mercy flows and the cross was born for me. I will rejoice, for my Jesus came to rescue and conquered death at Calvary. Come on. Jesus, you're my joy, down deep in my soul. You got me coming back for more. Jesus, you're my joy. All right, put your hands in the air. Here we go. My hands are lifted up, my feet are dancing now, beneath the overflow of your love pouring down. My hands are lifted up, my feet are dancing now, beneath the overflow of your love pouring down. Jesus, you're my joy, down deep in my soul. You got me coming back for more. Jesus, you're my joy. All right, one last time, put your hands in the air. Here we go. My hands are lifted up, my feet are dancing now, beneath the overflow of your love pouring down. My hands are lifted up, my feet are dancing now, beneath the overflow of your love pouring down. All right, just your voices, let's sing it together. Jesus, you're my joy, down deep in my soul. You got me coming back for more. 'cause you're my joy. Give it up for our Lord Jesus. Give it up for him. Awesome.
Bible Theater.
David and his men had been running from King Saul for a long time. One day, they were tired and hungry from running around.
Hey man, we're hungry.
So David decided to send a messenger to a guy named Nabal to ask if he would share some of his food with them.
Man, I'm still hungry.
May God bless you and your family, Nabal. We heard that you were having a party. While your shepherds stayed with us, we never hurt them or even stole one sheep. In fact, we protected them from the bad guys. So would you be nice to us during this time of celebration and share some of your food?
Who's this guy David? Who does he think he is? There are lots of people these days who are running around from someone like he is. Should I give my food to all of them? Why should I give anything to you?
David's messenger went back to him and gave Nabal's answer. This made David very mad.
Get your swords. We'll show him.
Swords! I love swords.
Yeah, woohoo, yeah, sports, go sports, I'm ready for my sports.
Hey,
Oh.
he said swords.
Oh, man.
David and 400 of his men marched off to go get Nabal. Nabal had a very wise wife named Abigail who loved God, and she had no idea what was going on until her servant told her how mean Nabal had been to David.
Don't worry, I'll take care of it. Get me 200 loaves of bread, 2 wineskins full of wine, some meat, some grain, raisins, and fig cakes, and we'll give them to David.
So Abigail went to meet David to give him the food and stop him from making a bad choice when he was mad.
A lot of good it did to help this guy. We protected his stuff and we didn't take a single thing for ourselves. But he has repaid me evil for good. Not one person in his family is gonna be left alive.
Tell him, man.
I take the blame for this, sir. I didn't know about the message you sent to my husband. I know Nabal is a wicked man, but don't pay any attention to him. The Lord has sent me to stop you from taking revenge on your enemies by your hand because you're angry. God has taken care of all of your enemies so far, and he'll take care of Nabal in his own way. Please accept these gifts and don't let this be something you regret when God makes you king over all of Israel. And when God does all that he's promised for you, remember me, your servant.
Praise God for sending you to me. Bless you for keeping me from murder and revenge by my own hand because I was angry. Go back to your home in peace. I promise that I won't hurt Nabal or anyone in his family.
The next morning, Abigail told her husband Nabal what she had done for David. He got so angry that some of his stuff was gone, he had a stroke. 10 days later, Nabal died. God sent Abigail to stop David from doing something because he was mad. David chose to listen to Abigail and to let God take care of Nabal on his own. And because David stepped out of the way, God took care of everything. In fact, soon after Nabal died, Abigail married David.
Good morning, boys and girls. We miss you so much, but we're so glad that we can come to you by video on your television at home. And today we're going to take a look at our lesson is on Abigail. And I want you to remember that she was a very wise woman. And God's blessings come to those who do things right. And you will see that in the life of Abigail. And I want you to listen for what Abigail did that was the right thing to do, because we need to make choices to do the right things too. Abigail's not mentioned much in the Bible. However, her story is very important. Abigail was wise. If you were remembered for one thing, wouldn't you like to be remembered that you were wise? That's a good thing. Abigail was Nabal's wife, and Abigail's name means my father's joy. So God's joy. Wisdom is when you have good judgment and understanding about something and make the right choices. Abigail had a wise response that saved many people's lives. David spent much of his time traveling with his men, and during one of his journeys, he met the shepherds of the flocks that worked for this man, Nabal. Now, they had a lot of animals in their flocks. They had about 1,000 goats and 300 sheep. That's a lot to take care of. David and his men helped the shepherds with all of their animals for quite some time. Then later, David and his men were ready to travel on, and they came to Nabal's land. Nabal's name means foolish scoundrel. Let's see what Nabal does. David sent 10 of his young men to Nabal to ask him if he would give them food, if he would give them the provisions that they needed, the water, the food, so that they could help them out as they traveled on. Nabal didn't want to do this, and instead he responded very rudely. There's never an excuse for rude, is there? He told them, "No, I need you to leave." When David's men came back and told him what had happened, David was angry. That's also not a good thing, is it? He was ready to kill all the men in Nabal's household. Uh-oh. Oh no, we can't have that. Let's look how Abigail used wisdom. Remember, she's Nabal's wife. She responded with some of the men in their household when she heard what Nabal had done. And I'm going to read you from 1 Samuel 25, verses 18 and 19. Abigail acted quickly. She took 200 loaves of bread, 2 skins of wine, 5 dressed sheep, roasted grain, 100 cakes of raisins, and 200 cakes of pressed figs, and loaded them on the donkeys. Then she told her servants, "Go ahead, I'll follow you." But she did not tell her husband Nabal. What did she do? She immediately gets the provisions that David asked for and went down to meet David. When she gets there, what do you suppose she finds? She hears what David is planning. That probably about 400 of his men were going with him, and they were going to kill every man in Nabal's household. Oh my goodness, we can't have that. All because Nabal did not respond with kindness. Remember, responding in anger is never good either. So what does Abigail do? She gets off her donkey, she bows down to David and shows respect and tells him something. The Bible tells us that she apologizes to him for not having heard the men that David sent when they asked for food. She offers everything that she brought to them, all that whole list of food I told you about. And she praises God for stopping the bloodshed that David and his men were going to bring to Nabal's household. She reminds David of all the things that God plans to do with him and asks when he is successful and the Lord's promises come true that he would remember the actions that she had done. David has an immediate change of attitude. David praises God right then for the provisions given and for Abigail coming and putting a stop to his plan. The next day, Abigail tells Nabal what she has done. He does not get angry with her, and he is ashamed for what he did. What have we seen and learned? Abigail responded wisely to the situation. Abigail saved lives that day because she responded wisely. While your decisions may not necessarily save lives every time you make them, they're still very, very important. Sometimes when things aren't going our way, we get frustrated instead of acting with wisdom and kindness, don't we? We get angry and we respond with mean words, and we get angry like Nabal did and David did. The good news is we don't have to respond like that. We can respond like Abigail. It can be really hard to respond like Abigail, but that's the right thing. Where did she get her wisdom from? She got it from God, only from God. That God told her what to do to take care of the situation. When we want to be wise, we get it from God also. Sometimes our parents tell us what is wise because they've learned it from God themselves. Sometimes our friends can share what is wise. Our teachers share what wisdom is. We get it from all sorts of ways that God uses people in our lives to give us wisdom. Just like kids do when they learn that they don't touch a hot stove, remember that? You gain wisdom from making choices and learning that whether your choices give good consequences or bad consequences. Wisdom will bring good consequences. Think about some situations that could benefit from you responding with wisdom. You can even make a note of that in your activity sheet for this week. On the front side of it, it says list some people that can give you wisdom and help, and situations in which you would like to have wisdom. Ava's going to share our Bible verse with us right now. It's our memory verse for this week. Thanks for doing that, Ava.
Hello, friends. I have another memory verse for you, and it is Proverbs 2:6. For the Lord gives wisdom, from his mouth comes knowledge and understanding. What this means is that God says that we should be wise. Let's say this memory verse one more time just to make sure you understand it. And it is Proverbs 2:6. For the Lord gives wisdom, from his mouth comes knowledge and understanding. Well, until next time, bye!
I have a challenge for you as we wrap up this week. Have you been listening to wise words and acting in wise ways? Think about an area of your life where you can get better at listening and show more wisdom this week. Remember to do your activity page. There's a word search on one side of it that looks like loads of fun. You might need to get your mom or dad to help you with that if you're pretty young, but it's loads of fun, so take a look at that and it will help you remember our story today. Don't forget the space on the other side to reflect on our lesson. Have a great week, be kind, stay healthy, and remember to be wise. We miss you. See you soon.
All right, let's sing about Jesus. Jesus, you are the one. Give me hope when the day is done. My hands are lifted to you. Jesus, you are the King. You are the reason why I sing. My heart belongs to you. Here we go. Jesus. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My hands are lifted to you. Jesus. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My heart belongs to you. Yeah. Put your hands together. Sing about Jesus one more time. Jesus, you are the one. Give me hope in the day